Hello everyone, welcome to the super amazing platform of Asha NEET JEE. I am Dr. Anuradha Pathak and today I'll teach you nitrogen cycle. And for your surprise, there is a hidden knowledge that why carnivorous plants eat insects. So wait till end for that thing. Now, nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle is a biogeochemical cycle. Bio means living things. Geo means non-living components of the earth such as air, soil, water. Chemical means some chemicals such as nitrogen. And cycle means that element is cycled between the living and non-living components of the entire earth. So yes, the nitrogen has to be cycled between living things and non-living things, that is air and soil. And this cycling has to occur. There are different stages, there are different steps in the nitrogen cycle. We will study all of them one by one. But first thing, why living things need nitrogen? Why do they absorb nitrogen? The answer is that nitrogen is an important component of our DNA, RNA, our proteins, different enzymes, most of which are proteins itself, hormones, many vitamins, chlorophyll, and many more things. So that's why living things need nitrogen. But from where does they get nitrogen? See, let's make different components of our earth. One is atmosphere and one is lithosphere that has soil in it. We know that the roots of higher plants or any plant, right? These roots are present in soil itself. And the area around the roots is known as rhizosphere. Rhizo means root. Okay. The nitrogen is present in atmosphere also in the form of inert nitrogen. There are two nitrogen atoms bounded by triple covalent bond. And that is 78 to 79% of the entire air. In the soil also, some nitrogen is present in the form of nitrate and ammonium. And this nitrogen comes from the weathering of rocks. We know the soil is formed by the weathering of rocks. But the nitrogen present in the soil is not sufficient. It is a limiting factor. Nitrogen is a limiting factor. It's just like you have, suppose, only one chocolate and you and your brother or sister are going to fight for it. So for this limiting factor, there will be a tough fight between the bacteria present in the soil and the plants. So from where does the plant will complete its nitrogen requirement? It will get the nitrogen from the atmosphere. That is the reservoir of nitrogen. Okay, so these two things are present. You got this? Second thing, in the atmosphere there is thunder, there is lightning, and because of that lightning, enough pressure is generated and this inert nitrogen can be converted into oxides of nitrogen. So, because of lightning, we get oxides of nitrogen. And these oxides of nitrogen can combine with the water of the rain when there is rainfall and they can enter the soil pool. And yeah, these are available for the plants. So one source is this one. Now, you have seen, have you ever seen forest fires or thermal power plants? Or if you have not seen that, you must have seen the automobile exhaust. Burning of fossil fuels, automobile exhaust, thermal power plants, volcanic eruptions, and many more sources. These also generate oxides of nitrogen. So we can say burning of fossil fuels, right? Forest fires, automobiles, volcanoes, etc. Thermal power plants, right? These also generate oxides of nitrogen. And this oxide of nitrogen again combine with the rain and come back to the soil. Okay, so now it's also available for the plants. One more thing. In the industry, we make ammonia by creating a particular pressure, and at that pressure nitrogen is allowed to bind with hydrogen and we get the ammonia. The process is Haber's process. That ammonia is also used as fertilizer, and now this ammonia is also available to the plants. So we can see different sources from where we got the nitrogen for the plants. Okay, we will study that the atmosphere that we got, that is inert nitrogen, that cannot be absorbed by the plant in its in the same form. So it has to be converted into the form in which the plant can use it, and that form is nitrate. Most of the nitrogen is taken up by the plants in the form of nitrate. So we will see how this nitrogen will be converted into nitrate, and then finally how the plants will take this, how from the plants the nitrogen reaches to different animals, and from different plants and animals how this nitrogen reaches to the soil back, and from the soil how it reaches to the atmosphere again. So let's begin each step one by one. First, conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate. First nitrogen will be converted into ammonia, not nitrate. So that's the first step, and that we call it biological nitrogen fixation. So yes, biological nitrogen fixation. This nitrogen is converted into ammonia by different bacteria present in the soil. Whatever the bacteria is, that bacteria has nitrogenase, and this is the enzyme that is responsible for the production of ammonia from the nitrogen. This enzyme has an important element in it, molybdenum. Okay, let's see some of the bacteria that can convert this nitrogen into ammonia. The bacteria can be free living or they may be symbiotic, that is living in the association with the plants. The free living ones can be aerobic or anaerobic. Here are some examples. Azotobacter and Biserinckia are aerobic, and Rhodospirillum is anaerobic. Some examples of symbiotic ones. Rhizobium. Again, remember, rhizo means roots. Okay, so Rhizobium lives in the roots of legumes, leguminous plants, that is pulses, for example, pea. Frankia. It lives in the roots of non-leguminous plants such as Alnus. Anabaena. It lives in the roots of cycas, and these are special roots, coralloid roots. Coralloid roots of cycas, and in the leaves of a water fern called Azolla. So it also lives in Azolla leaves. Right? Okay. Then we have nostoc. That also lives in the coralloid roots of cycas. Right? So these are some symbiotic ones. Okay. What happens to the ammonia that we got from the biological nitrogen fixation? This ammonia has electronegative nitrogen. This nitrogen combines with the H plus of water present in the soil, and it forms ammonium. Now, on this ammonium, the bacteria of second step of nitrogen fixation will occur. So the nitrogen cycle, the second step of nitrogen cycle bacteria will act on this ammonia. So what is the second stage of nitrogen cycle? Nitrification. In this, ammonium is acted upon by two different types of bacteria. One converts ammonium into nitrite, and other one converts nitrite into nitrate. So these are the two steps in nitrification. In the first step, the bacteria involved are Nitrosomonas or Nitrococcus. In the second step, the bacteria involved are Nitrobacter, or it may be Nitrocystis. In both the steps, energy is released. These nitrifying bacteria are chemoautotrophs. Means they can produce their own food by utilizing the energy released by the breakdown of different inorganic chemicals, here ammonium and nitrite. They do not use the energy released from the sunlight. Okay, so these bacteria will use this energy to make their organic food from inorganic chemicals, that is carbon dioxide and hydrogen from some hydrogen donor. Okay, what happens to the nitrate? That is the third step of nitrogen cycle. So, the third step is nitrate assimilation. That nitrate is taken up by the plants. Where does the nitrogen go? Through which tissue does it travel? Yes. So, along with the water, this nitrate goes through the xylem to different parts of the plant. It goes to the shoot. But there is a twist. This nitrate cannot be used by the plant in this nitrate form. So, it has to be converted into ammonium. Again, yes, this is the twist. So, first, nitrate is converted into nitrite, and that is converted into ammonium. The conversion of nitrate into nitrite is carried out by a bacteria called nitrate reductase. And this bacteria also has, this enzyme, this conversion is carried out by the enzyme nitrate reductase, and this enzyme also has an important element called molybdenum in it. Now, the nitrite is converted into ammonium by the enzyme nitrite reductase. And now we have got the ammonium that will be used by the plant to make amino acids. You know, amino acids have amino group, and different amino acids are used to make different proteins. Okay, so plant has made its own proteins. Now, if suppose a herbivore eats this plant, so that nitrogen enters this animal. A carnivore eats this herbivore and nitrogen enters that carnivore. These animals will break down the proteins of the plant and will use the amino acids to make their own proteins. Whatever. These plants and animals will die one day, and their death stimulates the next step of the nitrogen cycle, that is ammonification. So, going to the ammonification. Ammonification is the formation of ammonia by the decomposition of the animals and the plants which are dead. So, suppose this plant is dead, this animal is dead. Now, their proteins will be broken down into amino acids, and from their amino acids, amino group will be released by deamination, and we will get ammonia and organic acids that can be used by the organisms of the ammonification, by the decomposers. Okay, the nitrogen, this ammonia will go back to the soil. Now, this ammonia can be used again for nitrification, right? Ammonia will combine with hydrogen and will be converted into ammonium, right? Then we have nitrate formation, then nitrate formation, and the whole cycle can occur. Some of the ammonia is volatile. Actually, ammonia is volatile, and some of the ammonia goes back to the atmosphere. It will go to the air. Okay. Whatever be the process, whether ammonia goes to the air or it enters the plants, finally it will reach, if it enters the plants, finally it will reach soil again. Okay. We have to give nitrogen back to the air so that the cycle can continue again. So, how does it occur? Okay, some of the ammonia is volatile, it goes back, but some of the nitrate that was formed in nitrification process is the source to get the nitrogen by the process called denitrification. So, yes, we have the last step of the nitrogen cycle, that is denitrification. Okay, so nitrate that was formed by nitrification is converted into nitrite and then into nitrogen, and there are different steps. Finally, we get the nitrogen that goes back to the air. And yes, this completes our nitrogen cycle. So, let's summarize it. We got nitrogen from the air. We got oxides of nitrogen which can be through the thunder, lightning, or through the burning of fossil fuels, volcanoes, etc., which combined with rainwater and entered the soil. Okay, now this, or we also got the nitrogen from the industrial process, right, through the Haber's process in the form of fertilizers. Whatever be the processes, through the biological nitrogen fixation, that is nitrogen converted into ammonia, we got the ammonia. This step was biological nitrogen fixation. Now, in the soil, there are some other bacteria also that converted this ammonia into nitrite, that was further converted into nitrate. That nitrate was taken up by the plant roots, and this entered the plant, but it cannot be used in the same form. So, it was converted into ammonium. So, nitrate converted into nitrite, and that got converted into ammonium, that was used to form amino acids and finally proteins. Okay, this plant was eaten up by some animal. The plant and animals die, and on them decomposers act. For example, actinomycetes, different bacilli, and we got ammonia. How? Proteins of these organisms are converted, broken down into amino acids that are further deaminated to remove the ammonia, and we get organic acids. From that ammonia enters the soil. Some of the ammonia is volatile, it goes back to the air. Some of the ammonia enters back into the nitrification process. Okay, these steps were nitrification here. The conversion of nitrate into ammonium was nitrate reduction and then nitrite reduction. Nitrate and nitrite reduction. Breaking down of living organisms, proteins, and finally getting of ammonia is ammonification. Some of the bacteria convert this nitrate again into atmospheric nitrogen by the process of denitrification. Now, the atmospheric pool of the nitrogen has again got the nitrogen, again the cycle can continue. Hope you understood the concepts. Okay, I told you that I will tell you about carnivorous plants in the end. Here you can see a carnivorous plant that is trapping an insect. But why it is trapping the insect? The carnivorous plants are deficient in nitrogen. They grow in nitrogen deficient soils. So they take up the animals, small animals like flies or in fact frogs, etc., small animals. They break down their proteins, digest it, and they get amino acids, and from their amino acids they get amine, right? And from the amino group, from the ammonia, they can prepare their own proteins. Okay, thank you everyone for joining the session. God bless you all. Have a great day.